Welcome back to another episode of Old School. So, this is a viewer's request. Big shout out to the awesome Mateus, who requested Kensei, Sacred Fist. I did play a bit of this earlier. Usually I don't do that. Usually I go in to these videos, or I jump into the deep end like I've never played them before. But I wanted to play this for a little bit first before recording. The reason being is the wiki claims, or it doesn't claim, it's factual, because the reviews for this weren't good. So I was like, oh, is this a bad video game? But I don't think it is. So we've got that out of the way. Let's jump into this. And also, guys, be prepared. I'm terrible at this game. I'm terrible at fighters. Look at Douglas. Alan. I love some of the names in this. Some of them are just so like, I mean, David. There's nothing wrong with that, but it makes me laugh. This game in Japan was known as Buggy or Boogie. Basically, B-U-G-I is how it's spelled. And it wasn't in the arcade. This is a straight to console release. And as you saw on the splash screen at the beginning of the video, this is a Konami game, which I found interesting. And I think this plays a little bit like Tekken, just a bit. And I really like it. But like I say, the reviews weren't good. Basically, people don't think it's a bad game per se, just that it's tedious and dull. I like how slow it feels, and like you've got to be patient with your attacks, basically. I really like this game. I think it's decent. Is it the best fighter I've ever played? No, not at all. Tekken's a better game. And Tekken is the obvious shout when it comes to PlayStation, of course. But I do prefer Tekken. I think Tekken's fantastic. This is a good alternative for sure. Maybe it is a little bit sterile, but Konami... Yeah, Konami've got a history with their presentation within their games and the content in their games not always being the best. But gameplay-wise, their games, a lot of the time, have been superb. And I think this is very good gameplay-wise. But yeah, maybe it's a bit sterile, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure how I do some of these moves. I'm pulling them off by luck. And I think given time with this game, I maybe would get bored. But my first impressions, like I say, is a good game. I like it. I'll get to the review scores in a bit, guys. Here's Yugo. Okay. I mean, fighters in general, I struggle because I forget how to do the moves. It's as simple as that, basically. The only ones, or the only game where the moves are ingrained into my memory is Street Fighter 2, because I played so much Street Fighter 2 when I was a kid, and I used to enter competitions. Well, I entered 2 competitions. One in school and one in like some youth club sort of event. But yeah, in all the other fighters, I just forget. Always forget how to do all the moves. So hats off to you guys who get good at these games. There's such a skill to playing these games. And again, hats off to especially the guys who play these fighting games for a living. Is that still a thing? It was back in the day, wasn't it? But anyway, yeah, let's have a look at the scores that this game received. GamePro gave it a 3 out of 5, or 3.6 out of 5 to be precise. GameSpot gave it a 4.7 out of 10, IGN a 5.5 out of 10, and official US PlayStation Magazine gave it a 2.5 out of 5. They're not the worst scores, but they're just bang average, aren't they? I don't think this game's a 5 out of 10. It's more of a 7 out of 10 for me, I would say. because it's playable. It plays it plays as a good fighter, in my opinion. It definitely doesn't deserve to be on bad video games. Not a chance. Not when you've got stinkers on there like Rogue Warrior, which I looked at a few days ago for the channel as I'm recording this. Absolutely woeful. This isn't in that ballpark. I like the slower fighters like this, like Mortal Kombat, like Tekken, rather than the twitchy, really extreme, fast Street Fighter Turbo sort of fighters. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to fighters. I am nowhere near an aficionado when it comes to this genre of video game. But I just enjoyed playing them when I was a kid, for sure. Mortal Kombat especially. Music is absolutely woeful, by the way. Reminds me a bit of the Yakuza music. The music in Yakuza 0 comes to mind. Another series which I like, but I also don't. There's something about Yakuza. Maybe I should feature that on the channel. Yeah, there's something about Yakuza that I love the story, but I hate the real silly side to the game, the ridiculousness of it. I can't get past that. Anyway, we've got some more dodgy, heavy rock as our background music here. I mean, the environments are pretty... Yeah, they're pretty bad, aren't they, in this? Like, there's no crowds or anything that you'd get in the aforementioned Street Fighter series, Mortal Kombat. But I don't really need crowds. I mean, these guys are just going at it in their own time, aren't they? They've come down to the docks. Let's have a fight. We don't need people watching us. But yeah, let me glance at the other monitor here. IGN and GameSpot were both quite critical of the game, calling it mediocre. One of the journalists wrote that Kensei Sacred Fist is a little more than a bland footnote in fighting game history. Is it bland? No, I don't think it's bland from a gameplay perspective. Just everything else about it is bland, if that makes sense. It's like dodgy wrestling music. This rock in the background is pretty bad. Reminds me of the music actually in WCW V whatever it's called, Nitro. I can't remember, on the N64. Brilliant game, but that had some terrible music whilst you were wrestling. Anyway. There's lots of grayed out characters, as you can see, which I would need to unlock. But I probably have to get a lot better at this game to unlock them. I don't know. Anyway, we've chose Anne here. Let's see what Anne's about. Against Douglas. Douglas reminds me of Steven Seagal. And Douglas is not to be messed with. I am struggling against this guy. I don't think this game's based on an animated series or anything, is it? I don't think there's a lot of lore here. I might be wrong on that. This is exclusive to the Sony PlayStation, by the way, guys, the PS1. Okay. And we did get it in all of the regions. So Japan, North America, and Europe all received this game. I do not remember seeing this game. I have to admit, I owned the PS1. I had some games. I loved my PlayStation. And I used to play, like I say, a lot of Tekken on there. I don't remember this. Never saw this anywhere. So it's a really good request because I love featuring games on the channel that I would not have even considered playing. Because like I say, I didn't know about this game. I need to read the wiki, actually, in my own time and find out more about this. Is it a series? Was there games on other platforms? Was there a PS2, Kensei, etc.? Ah, this guy is just demolishing me. But I can see why people don't like this. I can see why. But I think it's absolutely fine. It's just forgettable, really, I guess. It's like, oh, this is okay, this is fine. Now I want to go and play Tekken. It's that kind of thing for me. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit too harsh on this, because like I say, I'm enjoying learning the different characters' movesets in this. Oh, Douglas. I told you I was terrible at these games, though, guys. Absolutely terrible. Oh, come on. Yeah, there's definitely, not latency, but there's definitely an art to, like I say, getting your attacks in the right, I'm not wording this well, but waiting for the correct window to approach the attack or approach the enemy, the opponent, because I'm finding that I'm not delivering the moves that I want to deliver at the right time. Oh, I cannot deal with Douglas. But yeah, this is Kensei. I think it's decent. It's not terrible. It's not going to blow your mind, but it's well worth playing if you love your fighters. In my opinion, of course. Look out for more content coming to the channel. We've got loads planned. I'll speak to you all soon.
You win. 我食うなり